right, hey, what's up, y'all? So I want to tell you about this meeting that we have coming up this Saturday at 10:30 a.m. PST. You can attend here in person. You can also attend virtually through Crowdcast. And this is the second meeting in our flexible animal-based omnivore progression. All right, we had our first meeting this past Saturday. It was awesome. We had great attendance, great discussion, mind-blowing information. And by the way, every single one of these meetings is meant to be standalone, which means you don't have to attend the other meetings to attend this meeting. And I promise you that if you come, you're going to have your mind blown, all right? So flexible animal-based omnivore is our version of moving towards 100% animal-based or a carnivore diet. But we have a progression so that we can ease ourselves into it and minimize transitional difficulties and symptoms. Now, why the heck would we want to consider something like this? I know it sounds crazy. Even to me, it sounded crazy, and I've always embraced animal foods and traditional fats. But when you start to listen to the arguments, there's a lot of valid arguments there. So this is why you'd want to consider something like this, all right? First of all, if you consider yourself a real foodie or someone who thinks that health is important to them, then you need to be experimenting with things, especially with things that you might disagree with. All right, that's the problem with a lot of nutrition arguments out there, is they're so lopsided and dogmatic and pigeonholed because they don't know anything else. All right, that's what's unique about what we do, is we're always experimenting, we're always tinkering, and then we're bringing back the experiential truths that come from that experimentation. All right, so you want to keep yourself open-minded and always learning, so at least you can go to your people or your clients or whoever it is that you talk to about this stuff and say, yeah, I've been there and done that. All right, also, if you have stubborn symptoms like digestive issues, skin issues, autoimmune symptoms, in the context of doing what you think is right or healthy, obviously something needs to change. So it's worth experimenting with. And by the way, a lot of people who have adopted an animal-based way of eating have seen resolutions in a lot of those types of symptoms, and resolutions in body composition and mental and emotional disorders and all kinds of different things. So. And then also, you just want to keep things interesting and fun moving forward, all right? If you go through something like this and it didn't work for you, at least you kept things interesting as you were going through it, all right? Now, we would never advocate a 100% animal-based way of eating for a lifetime, just like we would never advocate a 100% plant-based way of eating for a lifetime. All right, but we do advocate experimenting for all the reasons we just talked about. So at this second meeting, this is what we're going to learn. First of all, we're going to talk about the potential problems with plants. And I emphasize potential because we're making an argument for this so that we can justify doing this experiment. And at the end of this, we're going to settle on the things that we actually agree with, right? So the specific potential problems with plants are things like anti-nutrients, phytates, lectins, saponins, prolamines, things like gluten. We're going to talk about how those things impact the human body. We're also going to talk about antioxidants. I don't think people know what antioxidants are or what they do inside the body or what triggers antioxidant activity. We're going to talk about polyphenols, right? We all know polyphenols are something beneficial coming out of plants, but are they really? And then we're going to talk about goitrogens, oxalates, which are really high in plants and cause a lot of people a lot of different problems. I'm actually very sensitive to oxalates. We're going to talk about sulforaphane, what is known as phytolectins or plant pesticides, and then also something super controversial, fiber. We all know that one of the big reasons that we need to be eating fruits and vegetables is for fiber, but fiber may not be as healthy as we think it is, and we're going to talk about that. Open discussion, all right? We're also going to talk about the difference in nutrients in plants versus animals. Did you know that there's a difference in bioavailability and the ability for us to assimilate things? So for instance, things like minerals in animal foods, super available in plants. Sometimes they're bound up by the fiber, sometimes they're bound up by phytates and other anti-nutrients. All right, so we'll talk about the difference in types and versions of nutrients. So a lot of people think that when they eat carrots, they're getting vitamin A, but when they eat carrots, they're getting beta carotene, which is the precursor for vitamin A, which can be converted into vitamin A, but most human beings don't do that conversion very well. So we're going to talk about the different versions of vitamins and nutrients in plants and animals, and it's not all lopsided towards animals, but we're going to talk about the specific important ones, okay? And then we're also going to talk about what we need to consider as far as balance goes if we're going to try to do something that's animal-based and we're missing out on all these theoretical plant-based nutrients. How do we make sure that we're getting a balance of nutrients and a balance of macronutrients as we move forward with this thing? And we're going to talk about superfoods and supplementation and stuff like that. So it's a really, really awesome, fun discussion. open discussion, experimentation. If you consider yourself a real foodie, you need to be at this meeting, okay? So, and then we'll talk about goals going forward, what we need to do to implement over the next week, and of course answer any questions that you have. So if you have any comments, questions, or snide remarks, please send them our way. Links, details, and everything else are in the post associated with this video, and we hope to see you at this meeting.